Welcome to the Richard Lloyd USA YouTube channel. I'm Richard Lloyd. Today I'm excited because I have a really cool solution for everybody. If you have slow Wi-Fi, which I did on this router, which my last video I showed how to put DDWRT on the D-Link DIR-868L Revision A router, which is basically not secure with the stock firmware, but secure with the third-party firmware that I showed. I'll put a video up, a link up top here somewhere for that. But regardless, after doing that upgrade, I noticed that the Wi-Fi on this router was lackluster, to say the least. But as you can see here on the screen, you can see that my test here shows that it's Ethernet performance, so its hardwired connection performance was awesome. I have a gigabit internet service with 40 megabits up, and I was getting 920.48 megabits download and 38.97. Sometimes that went up to 42. And so basically the router was plenty fast for my internet connection, but the Wi-Fi was giving me this terrible number. I was getting 120 megabits on the download, 40 megabits on the upload on the 2.4 gigahertz band, the N band, and I was getting 244.59 and 41 on the 5 gigahertz band, the basically the higher band. And you know, this is not really great. And I was testing everything in the same server, everything. So I was not happy with that, and I stated in that last video that I would show you how to make this faster. So this video is for people who want to upgrade their Wi-Fi without switching out their router. Now, one caveat here, my solution will definitely increase your Wi-Fi performance, but if you're trying to increase your Wi-Fi performance to get better access or faster access to the internet, well, you will be limited by the router's ability to give you data from the internet. For instance, in this case, the D-Link has 1 gigabit Ethernet port, so it could never give you more than 1 gigabit speed on the router, from the router to Wi-Fi. So it doesn't matter how fast you make your Wi-Fi in that point. Like even if you had Wi-Fi 7, it would not give you the bandwidth that it could give you, because the router would be the limiting factor in the internet speed through your Wi-Fi and everything else. So, I mean, if you're using like an N300 router like this, well, these have 100 megabit ports on the back. So 100 megabits is the most you're ever going to get. So, you know, again, understand the limitations. I figured out, okay, I know how to upgrade the Wi-Fi on any router. This is not specific to this router. Really, any router that can take it can do this. Here's the results that I get after I plug in this Wi-Fi extender into my router. Now, they call these things Wi-Fi extenders. Like, you know, that's the Tenda A33 Wi-Fi extender. This is a TP-Link equivalent to that Tenda. It's considerably more. This is $74, and that Tenda is A33 is actually same performance as this at less than half the price. It's $30, and all of these are called extenders. But there is a key thing about these devices that I don't even know why, but they're not advertising. They're also access points, and that's what the Wi-Fi on your router is. That is an access point. Okay, what's giving you Wi-Fi on your router is it's called an access point. Your router has a lot of features in it that can be turned off, like Wi-Fi can be turned off, and you can just use this solution alone. But regardless, you can also use it with the Wi-Fi still on and plug it into your router. Now look at the results I get when I plug this in as an access point. I get 387.69 megabits per second, and that's on the N channel, 2.4 gigahertz channel, the lower channel. That's insane. That's 3 times the performance, right? So that's right there. And again, this is only $30 on Amazon, and I'll put links for this in the video description below so you can go get it. Please use those, as it helps me, and it doesn't cost you any more than just going directly to Amazon, and you will get it from the same seller and the same thing that I bought. Now, you know, now again, I'll preface this with, you know, you can go with other extenders, they will work as well. But at $30, I don't think you're going to beat the performance on that Tenda A33. I think it's a great value. So then you go down to the 5 gigahertz, and I had 244 here. I got 915 here. That's 4 times faster. Okay, it's at least, well, almost 4. I believe almost 4 times faster. Yeah, and incredible that I did that with $30, right? So keep watching, and I'll show you how to do this. It's fairly straightforward. We'll go to the next slide here. So first thing you got to do, well, of course, you got to have one of these devices, the extender, which they call an extender, but it's all of these have 2 functions: extenders and access points. So we're going to get your extender. We're going to plug it in and power it up. So that's what we have right now. And I'm assuming you just took it out of the box and powered it up. And that's what I have here. And you see that the red light on it is flashing. That's exactly the way it should be out of the box. So, and if it's not, then basically what you do is power it up, make sure whatever state it goes to, then go here to the reset port, stick a toothpick in it, and while it's powered up, hold it down for about 10 seconds or so, and it should reset to the factory defaults. But currently, I'm going to assume that yours is there, like straight out of the box factory defaults. And okay, so and the next thing also is we don't need it hooked up to anything. So it's going to be just powered up. I'm using an extension cord here. That's another thing about this also, that, aside, you can plug this in with a 300-foot Ethernet cord. That's that maximum length Ethernet cord you can have, and power it up, plug it into your router, and off you go. You can put it anywhere. It doesn't have to be where your router is. It can be put anywhere. So that gives you latitude in placing your Wi-Fi access point, right? Really nice. So we've got it powered up. Let's go and see. Let's set this up. So once you do that, I'm going to turn off the Wi-Fi. Actually, we're connected on Wi-Fi here. So I'm going to disconnect from my Wi-Fi. So disconnect. Okay, so you see here, once it's powered up, by default, you're going to have an unlocked Wi-Fi access point here, the Tenda_EXT. So we'll click on that, and we're going to connect to it. And no, it's not secure, but we're not going to stay there very long. And once we connect to it, you see what happens, right? Open a browser and connect. I'm just going to click that, and you can see it opens up a browser for you to start configuring it. So here we're going to hit the start now. Actually, I'm just going to take this here and see if I can copy it off of this and put it in my private browser. There it is right there. There we go. So you'll get that login prompt automatically. And click on start. You'll put in a login password, whatever you want it to be. I'll use something that I will remember. You use something that you will remember. There we go. And click next. And it'll automatically want to extend your network, right? And that's not what we want. What we want is we want to switch to the hidden mode, more or less, because nobody ever uses the app mode. Choose app mode. So access point mode. That's what we want. And then here you can go with the default name. I'm going to leave it alone. I'll put a password in here. See what happens. Okay. There we go. It likes it. Go next. And the router will now have a blue light on it like that. It will reboot, and then we'll get back into it. And you'll be using the password we just put into the Wi-Fi network. So wait for that to come up, and once it does, I'll continue the video there. All right, it's allegedly rebooted. At this point, we should have a new Wi-Fi access point. So let's go over here to our Wi-Fi. Open that up, and there you go. We've got Tenda EXT. Notice there's 2 here. It hasn't erased that one yet, but the one you want to go to is the one with the lock, all right, because that's the new one. So we're going to click on that. Sure, we'll connect automatically, and then we're going to put the password we put in there. And let's go. There we go. That's it. And it'll just do that forever because we haven't actually plugged it into the network yet. So what we're going to do next is get an Ethernet cable, plug it into the actual extender, or I'm going to stop calling it extender, the access point, and then plug the other side into your router on any of the LAN ports, not the internet port, but the LAN ports. And I'm assuming your router is already on the internet. So I'm going to do that here. There we go. That should make that connection actually connect. There we go, because it says, yeah, I connected, but it says no internet secured, right? So I'm going to disconnect from it, reconnect to it, and you can hit connect automatically if you wish. I'm just going to hit connect. There, connected and secured. Now it doesn't say no internet, right? So because it's plugged into the router, it's now part of your network, and it's now an access point. So we got that done. Let's minimize this out of the way. And if you want to reach back into it, not sure if this is going to get you there, let's try a few things. Number one, the instructions say that this should work. So it's re.tenda, so Tenda, re.tenda.cn. Enter. Yeah, it's not doing it. Oh, I was mistaken. There we go. So re.tenda.cn should get you into the login page. Another way you can do it is, let's see if this is going to work. Type in CMD into your search, so CMD, and you can run it as administrator or not. It doesn't matter. It'll work. I believe it'll work either way. I'm going to go with the administrator and say yes to the prompt. And here, if you type in ARP -A, ARP space -A, enter, you'll get all the IP addresses that are currently active in your network. You see here that I'm on 192.168.1.57. Then you see a bunch of other numbers, right? And the only one that really matters is this one here, because all the rest are not on the same network. It says 0.254, and I believe that's where the router is. We'll see what happens when we connect to it. Maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. We'll see. I have a tendency to believe it won't. 0.254. Oop. Let's try it. See what happens. Nah, I didn't think so, because we're not on that network, right? So I'm going to power it down and power it back up again, just to get it to connect to our network again. But the okay, let's go back here. re.tenda.cn should work for you. I'm waiting for this to boot. Right now I see the red solid light. And once we do, then we'll do some testing. But basically, that's it. It's connected to your router. You now have an access point. But I want to show you a few things about configuring it, and also some of the limitations. Anyway, because basically the interface to control the access point is, I believe it's somewhat locked down, in the sense that they're not giving you a lot of granularity on control. The TP-Link gives you a lot of control, like you can choose the channels, the bandwidth, all that stuff. But this is $74, and it's no faster. It's the same performance, the same technical specs as this at $30. So I just can't see why you'd want to go with the TP-Link unless you get it cheap somewhere, like on eBay. Let's see what happens here. Let's go back to our ARP. Here we go. Try that one more time. See what we get. Oh, yeah. You're not going to find any ARP entries if you're not connected to the network. So we got to do that too. I guess I should have gone with the automatic. Well, there's the Tenda right there. I'm going to connect automatically. That way we don't have that problem again. There we go. Connected. So we're good. Let's see if ARP was going to show us anything. ARP-A. Okay. Looks like 232 might be it. Let's see. Actually, let's try the Tenda, the re-dot tnda.cn. Yep, that works. So just go with that. I think the IP address for it would be 192.168.1.1.232. According to what I see here with the ARP, I mean, I don't have anything else plugged into the router, so I'm thinking this number right here is it. So let's put it in right. There we go. Yeah, there you go. So again, it does show you it, but it's not intuitive. The actual web page, the re.tenda.cn works too. I'm going to log into it here. There we go. We're in. Okay, so this is the configuration web page for the router. So not for the router, but for the access point. And we got all sorts of stuff here. We got network status, tells you what's going on. Wi-Fi settings. And this is the primary page I wanted to show you. There's another one, but this is the primary. You can see here it says unified 2.4 gigahertz and 5 gigahertz networks. So what that does is it's called bandwidth steering. What it does is it automatically connects 2.4 gigahertz connections to the same name, so tenda.ext, or to and 5 gigahertz connections to the same name. So you don't have to have two separate Wi-Fi connections for the lower band and the higher band. It just does it all at one time. And if you want to leave it like that, that's perfect. Leave it alone. You'll get good performance. Let's go take a little tour on, let's do a little speed test here, see what we get right here. And I was using the UT server for the slides, so let's do that again. There we go. Now we're only connected through Wi-Fi. Hit allow on that. And you can see that it just smokes. It's very fast, and I don't have it in an optimal place to get the best number. Closer to the computer would be good, but you know, again, you saw my results before. It went up to 912. It was insane, insane. Let me move that there now. See if I can get that to happen again. Get it closer to the computer. There we go. Again, amazing performance. Let's do it one more time here. Once it finishes. And yeah, look, 41, right? So, and I show you again, I'm only connected on Wi-Fi. Look at that. Insane. Like, that's Wi-Fi performance. $30, and I'm getting basically getting the same speed I would get connected through Ethernet. You know, it's just insane. So amazing, amazing solution for anybody that wants faster Wi-Fi. Of course, like I said, your router and your internet connection have to be able to keep up as well. So that is, you know, the first thing I showed you here. Next thing here is if you uncheck it, now you get two networks. You get the EXT and you get the 5G, which I like better because I like to know which one it's connecting to. And then at this point, when you split the two, you can also change the password for either one. So now it takes two different, you can have two different passwords and two different Wi-Fi access points, right? So I'm going to save it like that. There we go, save successfully. One more setting here. We'll go to more. I'll show you all of them, but leave this part alone. Now, you can see here, it tells you the IP address, 192.168.1.232. You can set this to manual, and then it'll never move. It'll always be in the same place. It's up to you. I'll just leave this alone. This one's interesting. OFDMMA. Now, again, read what it says. If your Wi-Fi card doesn't support this, and it won't make any difference, but what the heck, it doesn't hurt it anyway. So choose this setting to be on OFDMMA. LED indicator, you know, you can do what you want with that. Change the login password. System time here if you wish. Mine is, I'm in GMT negative 6 hours, so that's correct. Set it to where you want it to be, daylight saving time. If you want that to happen, click it there. And then there's maintenance as well, where you can reboot the router, reset the router to the factory defaults, system log if you wish, and then you can upgrade the firmware here by just clicking Detect New Version. I'm going to click on that, and it says right away, the extender is up to date, so there's no need to do a firmware upgrade. So that's the more. Now the working mode over here, if you want to switch it from app mode, which is where it is right now, to extender mode, you can, right? And one more caveat, as always, I'm going to give you as much information as I can on this. Client management, well, here if you wanted to boot somebody off, you could blacklist them and they wouldn't be able to connect anymore. But back to the working mode here, you can go to extender mode right here, just hit switch. But I'm not going to, because I like this setup and I like how fast it is. It's awesome. I'm using it on my network. I'm actually starting to incorporate a more modular approach to home networking, where the router does less of these functions like Wi-Fi and DNS and DHCP and stuff like that. I have other devices doing that for me, and the router does less of that, which means the less your router does of those functions, the more CPU cycles it has to actually be a router. So, you know, you're offloading some of the workload on your router by doing this as well. But as I said before, you don't have to switch the other Wi-Fi off. You can leave it on. And switching the Wi-Fi off on your router, depending on which router you use, like I said, this is not specific to this router. You can do this on any router you want that has Ethernet ports on the back, and preferably gigabit router as well. And some routers have a switch or a button to turn off the Wi-Fi. Others, you have to just go into the configuration and go in there and shut it off. But otherwise, you can just leave the two on and they can work concurrently on the same router. Sorry, on the same network. It's up to you, right? So let's go back here. So, okay, so we've got the more taken care of. I just want to make sure I got everything for you. Working mode, yeah, we set that up. Now, Wi-Fi settings, that's another thing. This is a very limited setup compared to what other, like if I go and I use this TP-Link, which is, like I said, same performance, no difference, exact same specifications. The technical specifications on this $74 access point are exactly the same as this $30 Tenda. So I can't really tell you, go buy this. That one works perfectly fine. And by the way, they're almost identical in the way they look. It's amazing. On this access point, it has a lot more granularity. Like you can change the channels that your Wi-Fi is on. You can, you know, change the bandwidth, whatever. There's a lot more settings. So, and I tried using the Tenda phone app, which on my Samsung phone, which makes it Android, and I couldn't get it to connect. I'm going to play with that some more, see if I can get that to work. This is how I like having it set. And once you do that, you'll still be connected. Here, I'll go to... But notice it says Tenda EXT. Now it says Tenda EXT5. Well, the EXT is actually the 2 gigahertz. So let's go do a speed test on that current connection. And I know it won't be 900. Again, this is all happening through that D-Link, old D-Link router that I showed in my earlier video and put DDWRT on it. See, right? Much, much slower, right? But still way faster than what I had on the router. So I'm going to take that and I'm going to switch from there to the 5G, the Tenda 5G. There we go. 5 gigahertz. There we go. We're connected, secured. Password's the same unless you change it. Go. And usually the first test isn't that fast. The second test is way faster. Maybe I'll be wrong, but there you go. Isn't that just like, it's amazing, smoking fast. So I've taken a $10 router that I bought at a yard sale, okay? And and it's easily 10 years old, but plenty fast on Ethernet, just kind of slow on Wi-Fi, and turned it into a blazing fast Wi-Fi and very fast router. So there you go, for a total of maybe $45 with all the taxes involved. We're rocking and rolling at this speed. There's one more thing that this access point and most access points are going to give this router that it doesn't have, and a lot of old routers don't have it, and that is WPA3. So what WPA3 is the latest security protocol for Wi-Fi. Well, prior to that, you'd have, before the WPA3, there was WPA2, which most routers have at this point. But this router and a lot of my old routers only have WPA2, and they cannot be upgraded to WPA3 by a firmware upgrade because it requires special hardware and they don't have it. So you can't just upgrade the firmware and say, oh, there, I got WPA3. But doing this will give you WPA3. And if you want to know what WPA3 and what the differences are, just Google WPA3 and then go to Portnox here, and it will tell you that it's a much higher security protocol for Wi-Fi. So you get that as well when you do this with your router if you don't have WPA3. So awesome, right? Next, let's go here to Amazon. You can see the price right now for this beautiful Wi-Fi 6 AX3000 dual band Wi-Fi extender is $29. Now, go buy a router that's $3,000, AX3000. Forget it, right? It's not going to be 30 bucks. But with doing this to your router, now you have a router with AX3000. Just amazing, right? What a deal. So that's why I'm excited about this video and showing you how to do this, because it's like an amazing upgrade for the price. It's just crazy. So let's keep going here. You can see that Tenda actually sells a bunch of these different ones for different speeds. You can get one for $16.99. It's AC 1200. There's the 3000. They do have mesh systems, but I didn't get into the mesh stuff because, and so you know, this A33 is not a mesh capable access point. It's just an access point. That's all it is. Now the TP-Link is mesh capable, but it's only mesh capable with TP-Link products. So it's kind of, you know, hooks you that way. So I didn't go into mesh because mesh is right now a proprietary mess. There is a new mesh type coming out called Easy Mesh. I believe this is somewhat compatible with it, but I think eventually Easy Mesh, which is open source and they're trying to make it an industry standard, will be the only mesh system there is across all these access points, because, you know, the proprietary thing, it's a pain, right? So again, if you got a mesh router, it won't work with your mesh system, but it will work with your mesh router. It'll just give you a non-mesh Wi-Fi access point connected to your mesh router. So no big deal there. If you want faster Wi-Fi and the mesh is not all that important to you, it will work there too. So let's go take a look at the TP-Link stuff. There's the one I was just showing you, the RE705X, $74.99. Again, I'll put links to this stuff in the video description below. You can buy it from there. Help me out, and it doesn't cost you any more than just going directly to Amazon. Also, if you want to go top end, like really want to crank it up, you can go for $149 TP-Link BE10000 Wi-Fi 7 range extender. I mean, insane, right? Like, look at this, 10 gigabits per second tri-band wireless repeater. Now see how they call it a repeater or an extender? They don't call it an access point. Weird selling point, way to sell stuff. But what I'm showing you here is a trick that they're not telling you about. I mean, they tell you that you can use it as an access point, but they don't tell you what that actually does for you. That's this video. I just showed you what it does for you. Amazing. And this one does have Easy Mesh, as you can see here. So, you know, if you want to go top end, you can. Now, notice here, 2.5 gigabit Ethernet port. Now, this access point is so fast that it would be kind of pointless putting it on this router or any router that only has gigabit ports on it. Now, my R9000 Netgear does have 10 gigabit ports on it, so I could put it on that, and I may do that test. But again, my internet connection is only 1 gigabit per second, so I'd have to crank that up too just to get the speed, and I may do it. But right now, I'm happy with what I got, and I'm just showing you your options. So yeah, that's it. You know, it's just amazing for the price. So yeah, highly recommend. If you want to boost your Wi-Fi to AX3000, spend 30 bucks. Do what I just showed you on this video. Turn it into an access point, plug it into the back of your router, and configure it how you like, and off you go. And again, like I said, you don't have to use this extender. Again, in the video description below, you can use any one you wish to use, right? And, has to match. I would say, be sensible, match your equipment. So that's it for my video. If this helped you out in some way, please hit the like button and give me a thumbs up. Also, comments in the video description, in the video comments section below the video. I read those daily, respond to them daily as well, most days. And anything you want to say to me, any suggestions you have for me, any constructive criticism you have for me, I appreciate that. Also, any video suggestions you may have or questions you have, I make videos from those questions and those suggestions as well on a regular basis. They help me out, and I really appreciate that. Also, if you like my content and you want to see more of it, subscribe to the channel. As part of the subscription, you're going to get a process. You'll get a bell icon. Click the bell icon and you'll be notified every time I put up a new video. And then you can watch it at your own leisure. And yeah, that's it. So like I said, I'm excited about this one. I hope that it helps you out and you upgrade your network, because I think it's a fabulous deal, $30. And I couldn't wait to actually share it with all of you. So that's it. Again, like always, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it greatly. I appreciate your support. And so take care of yourself, and we'll see you in the next video.